Hello, common people. This is a Common Guy Reviews, and I am your lovely host, Pepsi. Last Sunday, I went to the movies to watch Mickey 17, a 2025 science fiction black comedy film written, produced, and directed by Bong Joon-ho, same man behind popular Korean film Parasite. This is a man I should invest more time into, for he directed The Host, that is really good monster film from 2006. But back to the Mickey. The plot is as follows. In the ripe year 2054, Mickey Barnes and his friend Timo are in pinch. They have taken a big loan of money from a man named Darius Blank, who is not messing around. They decide to flee with a space colony that is led by the self-righteous man named Kenneth Marshall, but it is not uneasy to get on. So Mickey does the unbelievable. He signs up as an expendable, a person who is put in dangerous situations because they have a tech to clone a human being with his memories intact. So Mickey's role from now on is to basically die for bigger and smaller causes, only to be printed out again and again. Planet Niflheim awaits, and Mickey falls in love with a woman named Nasha. In the planet Niflheim, they get attacked by a weird beast, where Mickey survives just by the hair. But the troubles begin when he is face to face with his duplicate, that they printed out when thinking he was no longer alive. Being a duplicate is against the laws and causes the termination of both. So how do Mickeys fare in this situation? First of all, I love the plot of this movie. A couple dudes in trouble with a loan shark escaping into space with a colony that is led by a guy that has similar mannerism as certain other orange dolled. What a blast. This spaceship was nicely packed with narrow corridors and different levels. People worked their lane together some slop while sleeping in tight little rooms. It resembled a prison in some sense. Of course, the glorious leaders and their bootleggers lived in luxurious apartments and ate everything but the slop and misshapen energy bars. Mickey got treated like crap, even though they knew that he was experiencing death like everyone else, scared. Moral dilemma arose when there was now two Mickeys. Which one was the real one, or were they both real? What about Nasha and Mickey's relationship to her? A lot of questions. Movie dived well into topics of political nature, as well as criticized certain kind of leadership. Also, the inhabitants of planet Niflheim were interesting. Looked like a big worms, but kind of fuzzy and many legs. Planet was covered in ice, and was freezing. Could they survive there? As a Finn, I maybe could, if there was a good internet and some kind of heat source. Characters were nice. Mickey was kinda awkward, but still did his job. His friend Timo liked to let Mickey to shoulder things that he screwed up, and was in many sense pretty slimy individual. Nasha was an agent in the ship, enforcing some laws or something. I really didn't grasp what those agents' role was. She clearly was not fond of all the rules, and acted as an emotional support to Mickey, who was mistreated all the time. Our villains Marshall and his wife Ylva, who clearly was pulling his strings, were both drunk from their powers, being above everyone and just, in every terms, assholes. Something that clearly mocks the image of megalomaniacs in politics, and I can respect that. I liked how well they emphasizes how mistreated Mickey was. His suffering was real, and they portrayed that many times in pretty graphic details. You sided with Mickey easily and wanted to root for his success. Nasha stayed on his side in his many deaths, conforming him as best as he could. At the same time, they portrayed leaders doing things their way. They rallied the crowds of easy minds, used big gestures, and made promises, pretty much like in the real life too. Overall, Mickey 17 was a dystopian image about some almost like cult going into the space with the big goals that are not so likely to be realized. At the start you could see and hear that they had already kind of fucked up the Earth. So even a planet with icy coating and harsh weathers are better than that. You just wondered that why it was this weird cult and its leaders that left the planet, and who was left behind. I recommend you to take a look. Like many other movies of Bong Joon-ho, this has been met with a pretty above average points, 7.1 in IMDb, and it is worth your time. This was my review about Mickey 17, brought to you by Common Guy Reviews and speaking to you, your lovely host Pepsi, and I'll see you in the next review. Goodbye!